It's great love. It's great love. It's great love proclaiming everyone coming to entreat you. I'm talking to all humanity around. Talking to humanity. Even if you don't believe. Even if you don't believe. Let's talk about the great love of all mankind. Oh, yeah. If you can't talk about his love.
Shalom, I am Rabbi Shaul Praver. You're watching Rabbi Rock. The one thing that makes me most proud to be Jewish is the fact that we never said we own heaven. We never said we own salvation. We never said we had an exclusive to God. All people are God's children. All people are precious and beloved by the Almighty. The Almighty is the Creator, and we are His creatures. And that is what makes me most proud to be Jewish, because it shows a certain maturity in a message and a spiritual faith. Not everybody has to be like me. You can be whoever you are. You do good actions in the world. You are kind to one another. You follow basic moral attributes, guidelines. God loves you, whatever your religion is. And that's what makes me most proud to be Jewish. And it's not just my opinion, it's the truth of the Torah. We have many prophets that are not Jewish. Bilam the prophet, the famous Job, the book of Job, he was not Jewish. We have Hagar, the matriarch of the Islamic religion, or the Arabic people. God spoke to her. That would make her a prophet as well, wouldn't it? And there are many others that I haven't even mentioned. For example, the father-in-law of Moses was a Midianite, and he was not Jewish. He was the high priest. Melchizedek, the priest in Yerushalayim. Abraham called it Yeru, and he called it Salem, and became Yerushalayim. We put the two names together. And he, Melchizedek, according to some, was the third son, or one of the sons of Noah. And Noah himself wasn't Jewish. Is there anybody here that got here other than through Noah? Anybody was able to swim that long? We're all here from Noah. And Noah was not Jewish, and we are all the children of Noah, including the Jews. And God made a covenant with Noah. We see that in the Torah. So we cannot say that God only spoke to us, and we are chosen to the exclusion of everyone else. All of humanity are under God's covenant, and we all have different jobs to do. The Jews have to learn the Torah, and we believe that the Torah went out to the nations through Christianity and through Islam and other religions, and to bring the good word, the good message of one God, a certain code of law, the Ten Commandments. And therefore, this is the reason why I am proud to be Jewish. And there is another religion that arose more recently than Judaism, which is 3,500 years old. And that religion is the Bahai religion. And it shares in that pluralistic view of life. And pluralism is going to win out in the end. Because just think about it. If Christians, or certain fundamentalist Christians, say that salvation only comes with Jesus, that it means the rest of us are not going to have salvation. We're going to the place below. We're going to hell. If Muslims have their way, and only through Allah and His Prophet, then anybody that is not in that religion is not going to heaven, is going to hell. So it seems like there are a lot of major forces in the world that are on a collision course with one another. And I think we see that to a large extent. So therefore, my point to you today is that pluralism is going to win eventually, over this monolithic, exclusive, immature view of spirituality. The whole planet has to mature to the idea that we are all God's children and we all have something different but equal to do as His creatures. Today we have the wonderful, blessed privilege of having Dr. John Woodall with us, who is going to speak on behalf of the Bahai religion today. And with no further ado, we welcome Dr. John Woodall. Shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shalom. Thank you very much.
Pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
I know there's a great many things happening with the Bahai religion today, where it was born in Iran. Suppose, give us a little background about the religion and perhaps your journey to the Bahai religion as well.
Well, the Bahai Faith began in Persia in 1844 in the Christian calendar, and it began through the teachings of a man whose title is the Bab. It's a title that means the gate. And he said that he was a gate between an age of separation, wherein the different religions and nations were separate from each other, where finally humanity had come to the point where we could realize that really God had one covenant, one plan to bring all the different peoples of the world together. And he said that one greater than himself was coming. And Baha'is see that is personified in the person of Baha'u'llah, who is the founder of the Bahai Faith. And we derive our name from Baha'u'llah's name. Bahai is a follower of Baha'u'llah, whose name means the glory of God. And he began his teachings in Iran, or Persia, but was exiled from Persia to Baghdad, from Baghdad to Constantinople, and finally to Adrianople, and then he wound up in Akka, in what is now Israel, in 1868. And so that's a brief story of the religion.
Now the Bab was murdered, correct?
Yes, he was publicly executed in 1850 at the order of the Prime Minister of Persia.
Now this was against the opinion or against the ruling of the Shah, who was in power.
Right. It's an interesting story. There was a great upheaval at the time of the Bab's teachings. Many people were becoming his followers. And so much so it caught the attention of the Shah, who invited the Bab to Tehran to meet with him, perhaps even to marry one of his daughters. But the Prime Minister was very jealous and threatened by this because he felt he might lose his own position. So he had the Bab taken to the town of Tabriz and publicly executed there. A regiment of soldiers actually committed the execution.
What was his main teaching, the Bab?
Two things. One was that the age of, you could say, prophecy had ended, that the time when the separations of the peoples of the world, that time had come to an end, and that the age in which humanity was entering into was the time of the fulfillment of all the great religions, that this is the time when humanity can see its oneness. The time when humanity can see God's plan from the beginning was to bring His children together. And as you so eloquently said, God has given His covenant to many peoples. And so Baha'is see that this age, and the Bab's teachings in particular, was that age has now come. This is the time where we can see our common humanity.
That's fabulous. Now the Baha'u'llah was a student of the Bab, and that means glory of God, as you mentioned. How old was he when he first studied with the Bab?
He was in his young 30s at the time, and he was a follower in the sense that, in much the same way that Jesus was a follower of John the Baptist. You could say that the whole purpose of John the Baptist was to prepare for Jesus. In a similar way, Baha'i see that the whole purpose of the Bab's coming was to prepare for Baha'u'llah's teachings.
Okay. Now, is the Baha'u'llah affirming the major religions of the world, or is he not recognizing the divinity of the various religions?
An absolute core teaching of the Baha'i faith is that there is only one God, and that this God has revealed Himself and His will throughout the ages to humanity through the various founders of the world's religions. So Baha'i see and Baha'u'llah taught that all the religions at heart teach the same spiritual truths and draw our hearts up to the same God. But the form in which the religions take have varied from age to age, really because of the different requirements of the ages in which the founders of the religions came. So the outward rituals, the forms of practice, some of the social teachings vary from civilization to civilization. But those are the secondary teachings. The primary, the heart of all the religions is the same, that we're the children of the same God, that the path to God is through humility and compassion and obedience to His teachings. And Baha'is simply see that the Baha'i Faith is the latest in a succession of chapters of God's revelation, and that Baha'u'llah has brought teachings that